Now from Times Square, here's what you need to know.
Dr. Joe, we have to talk about this situation.
I know. I'm having a back spasm, and I'm using this massage ball, this Life Pro massage ball that Tori Johnson gave me and reminded me that it's part of the Deals and Steals Power Hour. So you too can have a massage ball. But
is it working?
It is helping.
Oh,
I also
okay.
have heat packs on there. I'm a mess.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
oh, no.
It's a lot.
We also have to ask you for help for work.
Okay,
so here's
I'm ready.
the question for you today. We're talking about this new report. Primary care doctors are going to be asking their patients about loneliness.
They're going to start screening for loneliness because that is how important a factor this is. We've heard it's an initiative by the U.S. Surgeon General. Let me take you through this study published in the Annals of Family Medicine. Number one, there's a big initiative to train doctors and medical students on how to assess and address loneliness. So they'll be using questionnaires to check patients' level of isolation because remember, you don't have to be alone to feel lonely. And then they're being trained to implement these psychological and social interventions. In this country, approximately 1 out of every 3 adults reports feeling lonely. And this, you guys, this health risks that it is equivalent to, social disconnection is thought to equate to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. That is the kind of impact loneliness can have on our physical and our mental health.
And it was just last year that the U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness an epidemic. You actually know the U.S. Surgeon General. You spoke with him personally. So how do we fight this? How do we combat loneliness?
So what's interesting is Dr. Vivek Murthy, he actually puts forth some tips that we can all do to help others. And think about it for a second. If we all do these tips and help everyone else feeling lonely, someone will be helping us as well. So things like spending 15 minutes a day connecting with someone you can call or you can text, just some kind of reaching out to make that connection, giving people your undivided attention. It's a novel thought, but don't multitask when you're trying to show them. That's right. Yes. Put it down, and then look for opportunities to help other people. That is so important. It will make you feel better. It will make the other person feel better.
You're so right. We can do our part.
100%.
All right, Dr. Jen, thank you very much. Let's check it out with ABC's Jacqueline Lee in Los Angeles with a look at your latest headlines. Good to see you, Jacqueline.
Hey, DeMarco, great to be with you. And we begin with the historic criminal trial against Donald Trump, now in its final phase. 5 women and 7 men are deciding the fate of a former president of the United States. Last night, lengthy closing arguments kept them late at the courthouse. Jurors are deciding whether Trump engaged in what prosecutors call a conspiracy and cover-up. They say he kept information from voters before the 2016 presidential election by allegedly falsifying business records. Trump has denied all wrongdoing. Overseas, the first Israeli tanks are rolling into Rafah. The IDF now saying a fire after their strike targeting Hamas commanders caused the mass casualties at the refugee camp. A U.S.-built pier allowing aid shipments has paused operations so repairs can be made. And home prices in the U.S. hitting an all-time high. Home values climbing 6.5% from a year ago, breaking records for the 9th time since last June. Cities seeing the biggest bounce include Los Angeles, Cleveland, New York, and San Diego. And now to Ginger Z for a peek at the weather.
70 to 86 mile per hour wind gusts all the way through North Texas yesterday. Did this at DFW at the airport there. That American Airlines plane not being driven, that's pushed by the wind. We will see more damaging wind, and that's the thing. Doesn't have to be a tornado to be deadly. I think we'll see them from anywhere in western North Dakota and South Dakota, Rapid City included, right there in the high plains of Nebraska and Colorado. Damaging wind, the main hazard, but you also see some large hail. And then Thursday and Friday, it gets back into North Texas, Wichita Falls, Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way down to Austin and Houston to end the week. What a huge month it's been, especially for this area. Flash flooding, also a threat.
Thank you, Ginger. And the big news in baseball beginning today, thousands of players' stats from the Negro Leagues will officially be integrated into Major League Baseball's record books. Hall of Fame catcher Josh Gibson from the 30s and 40s, considered one of the greatest players of all time, now surpassing Ty Cobb with his batting average and Babe Ruth with his career slugging percentage. And the Timberwolves staying alive and headed back to home court. Minnesota avoiding a sweep in Dallas with their win over the Mavericks. Now they're down 3-1 with a do-or-die Game 5 tomorrow night. The ultimate winner of this matchup takes on the Celtics in the NBA Finals. And guys, I genuinely hope Minnesota gets it together because they have been disappointing their fans as of late.
Yay!
Not.
All right,
Are you a
Jacqueline.
Timberwolves fan too?
Jacqueline, are you a fan?
You know, I consulted with some of our basketball fans in the studio, but I'm glad I sold it because you guys, you know, I don't know.
She's trying to get on the good side of the EP. All right, that's how you do it, Jacqueline. All right, Jacqueline, thank you. Good to see you, friend.
Just ahead here on GMA3 on this Wednesday, the lawmaker from Louisiana fighting back against changes on abortion pill laws she says will negatively impact women's health.
Plus, running to honor the legacy of a friend. We'll meet the group going the distance when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to GMA3. We turn now to a controversial Louisiana law that reclassifies two pills commonly used in medication abortions as controlled and dangerous substances.
Now, this law goes into effect in October. It makes knowingly possessing mifepristone and misoprostol without a prescription punishable by fines and possible jail time. One state lawmaker is fighting back, and she joins us now, Louisiana State Representative Amy Adato Freeman. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good to see you.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon.
So I'm curious because this wasn't initially part of this legislation. Can you explain what this law does and how this all came together?
So initially the law was filed at the request of a senator on these because of his sister being given these drugs incorrectly by her former husband, and he used it to try to force her to have an abortion. That was the initial law. I think the initial law 105 House members would have voted against. When it got to the House side, unfortunately, the Right to Life hijacked the bill. They added an amendment changing the schedule of these two drugs, mifepristone and misoprostol. They changed it to Schedule 4, which is the same exact thing for Valium and other addictive drugs. And so in changing the status of the medication, it's making it more difficult for doctors to prescribe and for patients to understand the use of these drugs.
And we should point out that these drugs are also used for miscarriage, to treat hemorrhage, for certain types of ulcers. As a doctor, I've been using these medications for over 20 years. Why do you think it is so difficult to convince some politicians to stay in their lane and not interfere in potentially life-saving care that doctors, healthcare professionals who have spent 8 years in graduate education have expertise that a politician does not?
I fully agree with everything you say. I don't think we should be legislating reproductive care. I represent a lot of doctors, but what I will tell you is that most of my colleagues care more about their score from the Right to Life, and they have this conception that it's a baby from the moment of conception. They go so far as to say that an 11-year-old should have to have a baby after rape or incest, which to me is horrific, because what are you doing to protect that 11-year-old or that baby that's born into that world? So for me, I don't understand why my colleagues do this, but I want people to know that there are representatives like me in southern states like Louisiana that are fighting the good fight and trying to put the doctors where they belong to be as the experts that they are. We should not be legislating this type of information and these type of medications. It's contrary to maternal health.
Citing the fact that this law criminalizes the use of an abortion drug on an unsuspecting mother, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry said, quote, "This bill protects women across Louisiana." Do you agree with that?
I absolutely disagree with the governor on that statement. 100% disagree.
And why is that?
He doesn't understand the full scope of medicine. He's not a doctor. He's a lawyer. He's a governor. He's a former attorney general, but he does not understand the full scope of medicine. I believe he hasn't spoken to the doctors. I believe he hasn't spoken to the mothers. I believe he doesn't understand that this is used for ulcer treatments. And so, in my opinion, he's just misinformed and is buying into the message that the Right to Life provides people in this Capitol.
There are going to be some people who look at this and say, you know, this is a prescription medication. Most people who are using this will have a prescription from their doctor. So, you know, what's the point of legislation like this?
Well, the point of legislation like this is to get out in front and to be an example to other states about how we can restrict care for abortion. But it is not an abortion bill. It is not used for just abortion. So it's a misnomer to put this into a category of saying it's an abortion drill when it's used for other purposes that are very critical for health care. So to me, the point is to just continue the message of the right to life, which I fully disagree with.
And we're almost out of time, but I do want to ask you, your state, Louisiana, is almost at the bottom of the country in terms of maternal health kind of statistics. What is being done there to help protect mothers in pregnancy?
Unfortunately, not enough. When we pass laws like this, we're just bringing us down further. I mean, I think we should fully fund, if we're really a right to life state, we should fund every baby that's born to the fullest extent from 0 to 18 to 21. We should fund every rape and incest victim to get them the therapy they need from trauma recovery, but we don't do that. So if we are fully a right to life state, then we should be investing in every moment of that child's birth, in my opinion.
Representative Amy Addado-Freeman, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead this morning, one stride at a time.
We'll meet a group of runners turning their pain into purpose, honoring the friend they lost 10 years ago. We're back in just a bit.
We've got the exclusive view behind the table. Every day, right after the show, while the topics are still hot, the ladies go deeper into the moments that make the View the View. The Views Behind the Table podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's see. Avocados, bread. What else do we need?
Patrick, have you ever thought about wearing a fireman's uniform?
A what?
You know, yellow helmet, fire-retardant jacket, a sprinkling of high-vis.
Why are we talking about this in the vegetable aisle?
How about a teacher? Guard of traffic corps?
Sorry?
Deputy planning regulator?
At ICS Mortgages, we've got a mortgage designed specifically for public sector employees. It's a mortgage offer so good, everyone wants in on the action. To find out more, contact your local mortgage broker, call us on 1890 427 427 or visit icsmortgages.ie. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Dilosk DAC, trading as Dilosk and ICS Mortgages, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Welcome back to GMA3. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. After losing a college friend to suicide, a group of runners are making it their mission to honor him at races all around the country, encouraging awareness and support, one stride at a time.
Yusuf was a great friend to all of us. We all met him at different points and times in our lives, so that makes us brothers. And from there, you know, we bonded a friendship that has changed my life forever.
I think we all agree if it wasn't for our brother Yusuf, you know, I don't think we would be in this running world doing what we do.
But out of all that, you still feel a little bit of there's something missing when you know that the person that kind of like got you going down that journey wasn't there.
When Yusuf decided to take his life on January 29th, 2014, it really affected me really bad. And, you know, as a friend, we just wanted to figure out ways to continue to keep his legacy alive. We decided to run the Miami Half Marathon in his honor, and we've been doing it for the last 10 plus years, just as a way of celebrating him and how he's brought all of us together through running.
I lost my best friend. We run in honor of Yusuf.
Inspiration by the Mile is a 4-part docuseries where we follow Fred and his group of friends as they honor their friend Yusuf by running the Boston Marathon. I have been following them around for most of my life, going to the different events that they go to, participating in the marathons. And then this year, I also added on as the director and producer of this beautiful project within this friend group.
Oh Let's Yusuf was a phrase that was a takeoff of Waka Flocka's Oh Let's Do It. And so it kind of became this rallying cry after his death. What's somewhat, I don't know, spiritually ironic is that folks will call us Yusuf as we're running by, like, go Yusuf. And so it kind of feels like it's just a reminder. You have it on your chest throughout the race.
This group of friends, they represent so many things. You can feel the importance of mental health. You can feel the importance of friendship and showing up for your friends. My hope is that when people watch this documentary, they feel inspired. I hope that it encourages them to also take care of their own health. I really hope that it creates an opportunity for people to check in with each other.
And I love how they're keeping his memory alive, but it's another reminder, rather, that, you know, hey, people are battling stuff silently.
And even your friends who you might not know are battling something sometimes. If you or someone you know is in crisis, free confidential help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call or text the National Lifeline at 988.
All right, when we come back, Dr. Jen has some tips for managing back pain.
And some unexpected good news when it comes to grocery prices. That makes me happy. How you can stretch your food dollar even further. GMA3 when we come back. Sorry, the couch is vibrating.
It is, and that's because of some little device over there that's helping our friend out with her back issues. But we're back now with Dr. Jen, and she's taking a look at a new study that reinforces that early introduction of age-appropriate peanut products for kids provides protection against developing a peanut allergy.
Correct, and this study really reinforces what we've known now for a few years. Remember, peanut allergy affects 1 to 2% of the Western world. I'm one of those people. I did not suffer from any food allergies when I was a child, but when parents have a child with a food allergy, it is such a big deal. Obviously, it can be life-threatening. Now, there's more and more data that really supports the fact that when children are introduced to peanuts at an early age, in the form of some diluted peanut butter, when they're toddlers, early, 4 to 5 months of age, there's a dramatic reduction followed out when these children become 12 years old in the number who have peanut allergies. So again, I think parents are always concerned. Is it too early? How do I introduce certain types of foods? Pediatricians deal with this every single day. Obviously, parents, if they have questions, should talk to their child's pediatrician, but just more reinforcing good news.
Yeah, it's one of those scary things, though, because, you know, the first time you give your kid peanut butter, so many moms like waiting in the hospital parking lots.
Exactly, and you understand that as a parent, as a doctor. The only exception is for babies or toddlers that have severe eczema or an egg allergy. Then they should have their baby undergo peanut allergy testing formally. Everyone else right now, peanut allergy testing is generally not recommended. But again, if you have questions, talk to your child's pediatrician.
And they can develop in your adult years?
Sadly, yes.
All right, Dr. Jen, thank you very much. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.
When it comes to winning elections, is it really the economy, stupid? Are soccer moms the quintessential swing voter? And does it matter which candidate you'd rather share a beer with? Every election cycle, cliches come easy. But are they right? In a new series on the 538 Politics podcast, we're taking a look back at conventional wisdom from past elections. Where did that wisdom come from? And does it hold up today? Find the Campaign Throwback series in the 538 Politics feed wherever you get your podcasts.
People who disappear without a trace.
Where is she?
The most notorious murder cases in New York.
Pure evil.
And the most devious killers.
There's a Hannibal Lecter feel to him.
For chilling true crime stories, follow the True Crime NYC podcast wherever you listen.
Welcome back to GMA3, What You Need to Know.
Billy.
This programming note from our Tori Johnson. There is still time to shop and save on our Deals and Steals Power Hour. 35 brands with more than 150 deals. You see Billy there on the e-bike, Brad cooling off on the bed, Keisha relaxing in a beanbag chair, even Dr. Jen just there with a multitasking skincare treatment while hard at work. Tori reminding everyone to head to goodmorningamerica.com to get those savings. Today is the last day. You're using one of them right now.
I am. I think it's called the Life Pro Massage Ball, and it's really helping. Yeah, Tori gave this to me, and it's part of the Deals and Steals Power Hour.
It was some good deals, too. I watched the whole show.
Really good deals.
That's pretty cool. That's
including this, which is...
I can feel it all the way over here, so I know it's not.
Yeah, the whole sofa is like vibrating, right?
Sorry, you guys.
Dr. Jen is taking a look at some of the questions that our viewers are sending in, and here is one right here. When do you need to get an antibiotic for sinus congestion? That is from Jess A.
Jess,
and DeMarco, all of us.
Channeling DeMarco earlier this week?
I felt like it was from you, DeMarco, asking for a friend.
Back way.
So here's the thing. Most sinus congestion is not caused by a bacterial infection, okay? It's either caused by allergies or it's caused by a virus. We don't treat viral infections with antibiotics. In fact, people could say, well, what's the harm in that? Why not? It'll just, make you feel better. The harm in that is it leads to
antibiotic resistance.
Correct. And then when we really need those antibiotics to work, they will not work. So, and here's, where you can, I always recommend you're not your own doctor, right?
Right.
But when that mucus or that snot is green, then and only then should you get an antibiotic prescription. Okay.
Is your snot green?
And
it was for like a couple of days. Just like it has cleared up now.
Right. And also, by the way, we should add it's a duration of symptoms. Right. Okay. If you're having symptoms for 10 days, 2 weeks, then maybe you have a bacterial superinfection. You, after 1 day, start asking for the antibiotic prescription. No bueno. No bueno.
I love how Eva says, was your snot green?
Yeah. There you go.
Your prescription for wellness.
All right. Well, inspired by my back spasm, as some of you may have noticed, I do not have the heels on today. I'm trying to be good and wear flats, but a lot of people deal with back pain. Back spasm, muscular spasm, incredibly painful. You want to alternate for ice and heat for 20 to 30 minutes each time. I'm more on the heat phase because, again, this has been going on for 5 days. Over-the-counter pain medications, both non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or Tylenol, they work differently. They can help. Prescription muscle relaxants, if severe, can be a big help. And then physical therapy, or I will be seeing a chiropractor later today. This all started with my hip flexor, you guys, and I ignored it. My advice would be don't ignore pain.
But when do you know it's a problem? Like, okay, this is too much. This is like
if
really
you have
serious.
any bowel or bladder problems due to back pain, that could be a sign of spinal nerve impingement. Or if you have numbness or difficulty walking, that's more than your typical. I've had this happen once a year since I was 40 years old, so I'm kind of used to the discomfort.
We wish you well, friend. You know that. And folks, we would love to hear from you, so please hit us up on Instagram with all of your medical questions for Dr. Jen at ABC GMA3.
And up next, when we come back, a cut and a conversation. We're going on a field trip to a barbershop in New Orleans, zeroing in on men's mental health.
Love it already. And later, making the most of your food budget. We have some good news to share when we come back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jen Ashton, and here's your prescription for wellness on how to manage back spasms and back pain. First, apply ice or heat to the location of your back spasms. I'm using heat more than ice. Wrap the ice pack or heating pad in a towel or a pillowcase and apply it to your skin for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then reapply after another 20 to 30 minutes. Next, try over-the-counter pain medication, including acetaminophen, naproxen, or ibuprofen. You can also ask your doctor or healthcare provider about muscle relaxants by prescription. If you do take them at night or when you're not operating a car or any heavy machinery, and only for 72 hours or less. And finally, try physical therapy or visiting a licensed chiropractor where you can learn relaxation techniques and stretches to help your back muscles. I will be doing that later today, and I'll have more tips for healthy living coming up on GMA3. We'll see you there.
Welcome back. As we mentioned, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're about to get a behind-the-scenes look at what's called barbershop talk therapy.
Inspired by one man's relationship with his own dad, the project creates a safe place for men of color to talk about mental health. Here's ABC's Murdaugh Murders.
So, Mr. Gerald, how you been feeling, man? You been doing pretty good? I'm good, man.
Finding a safe space to share isn't always easy for men, unless you're in a place where sharing isn't an option.
I don't believe in overstepping boundaries. If it comes to something that brings to my attention, then I'll address you. You could be uncomfortable, but I'm going to ask you.
Antonio Ibokiti is now working alongside barbers like Stan Norwood, hoping to harness the power of a good trim.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
A cut and conversation in a place where nothing is off limits.
This is an opportunity for us to, one, feel safe about the things that we can talk about, but also, two, have an opportunity to figure out what do we do about the things that we feel.
The Barbershop Talk Therapy Project started 3 years ago during the COVID pandemic when Ibokiti was a student at TCU's Burnett School of Medicine.
It seemed like it really is no different than how it was
for you all than it is for us.
Today, he's held discussions in Dallas, Texas, Hartford, Connecticut, and Washington, D.C., helping hundreds of men open up.
We talk about adverse childhood experiences. We talk about maladaptive coping skills. We talk about not actually knowing where to go when you do have a crisis. And there are people in the community who look just like you that you can go to.
The project was inspired by Ibokiti's late father and their trips to the barbershop together.
For him to be able to have been so impacted by barbershops and now in heaven he gets to see some of the work being done, I think he'd be proud. And I think he would also really respect that folks are now really taking it seriously about their mental health and getting the support that they need and getting the help they deserve.
Today we're in New Orleans on Freret Street in the Uptown neighborhood. Stan Norwood has been cutting hair at Dennis's barbershop for more than 2 decades. His passion extending far beyond the reach of his clippers.
Being a liaison, man, maybe Stan knows somebody who could help me out with this. So they're gonna come to me first. Friends who are doctors, friends who are therapists, friends who work at the social worker's office. Networking, the barbershop is a hub for every aspect of networking.
And so I think it's important for us to uplift each other, speak positivity into each other.
Dr. Antonio Ibokiti graduated from medical school this month, and he's now set to start his psychiatry residency at UCLA. But he's committed to continuing this grassroots work while in Los Angeles.
But at least with grassroots, at least with the barbershop, this is a place that we can start the work. This is a place where we can galvanize and engage our newest leaders. And this is a place where maybe that particular person, that young boy who was getting his haircut, hears some of the conversations, and then they go off and they figure out a way to kind of really be a solution to the system versus always just thinking, how can we even begin to attack it?
So it's not let's change the entire world here. Let's start with our own world.
Let's start at home. And if we start at home, maybe we can find solutions that allow us to get a little bit of joy.
The goal isn't to solve everyone's problem by the time their fate is fixed.
So we have to fix our self-talk and celebrate our small wins.
It's to encourage men to just sit, talk, and share.
Oh, I love this because it not only starts the conversation, but it starts the work.
Yeah, it's
so
important. And the sharing, that camaraderie and figuring it out together.
Love that story.
Lainey Wilson, now streaming on Hulu. The story you haven't heard.
I experienced a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy.
Lainey Wilson.
It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment.
And the CMA Award for Entertainer of the Year
goes to
Lainey Wilson.
Hey y'all, it's Lainey. I cannot wait for you to see my special streaming on Hulu. This has been a wild ride, and you'll get to ride alongside me on this journey.
Lainey Wilson, Bell Bottom Country, now streaming only on Hulu.
So let's talk about where the prices are right now and the latest inflation report. What are we looking at?
So inflation is down 3.4 in April, which is great. I mean, at one point it was 9+, and people were just really struggling. They're still struggling, but it's a little bit better now. Housing and gas is still driving it, but guess what? Food prices have come down. Eggs and meat and the kinds of things that make up the mainstay of people's food budget.
Let's talk about that. Where are we seeing the biggest savings?
So the biggest savings right now is eggs, and we eat a lot of eggs in our house. Boiled eggs, fried eggs, all of that. And we like brown eggs. So that's where you're going to see the big drop in prices. And then fresh fruit, which is great, right? We want people to eat more fruit. Milk is down, bread is down, and meat and poultry.
Those are all the staples.
That's right. That's right.
We like to see the grocery prices come down, but is there any other way to sort of save money? Because I feel like everything just feels a little tight right now.
It does still feel tight. I mean, those statistics make it seem like, but it's still tough, right? I mean, if you used to pay, $4 for eggs and now it's $5, that still hurts. And so one of the things I tell people all the time is shop your pantry and your fridge. Lots of times we have things in the refrigerator, you open up the door, I know this is you. You open it up and you say, there's nothing to eat in here. Or, sometimes you have a freezer in the garage.
You can see straight through me.
I can see straight through you. And you pack stuff in your pantry and you forget about it because you want something different. But shop your house. I tell people, eat out of your house until there is nothing left. And that means you got to get creative. Beans and rice and make one-pot meals. That's what we do in my house. And sometimes if you have a large family, which I do, you have a lot of stuff in the refrigerator refrigerated, but only enough for 1 or 2 people. So, maybe Friday we go leftover night, and we put everything out on the counter. And here's the thing, you got to be quick, because the best leftovers go first. And if you too slow, you going to get the leftover for 5 days.
Right?
So you got to be fast.
That's some good advice there. You also say be careful when it comes to the big box stores like Costco and Sam's Club. You would think that you would save a lot of money going to those big stores.
Price per item when you look at it, but who needs a 2-gallon jug of mayonnaise, for goodness sakes? And so you have to be really careful. Like, one of my tips is somebody in the house usually likes the big box more. Like, that's my husband. Hi, boo. He is not allowed to go by himself. He has to call me. So if he's on his way, I say, turn around and come back and get me.
Use an accountability partner.
Twice as much. And so, we're joking, and I know this is serious for some things, but these little things do add up. And so the other thing is, I have a lot of kids, and some of them like certain brand name food. I don't know why. I eat all the store brand. So buy the brand name, then go buy the store brand. Take the package out, put it into the box of the yes.
And they never know.
They never know. Cereal, peanut butter, scoop it out.
Come on, Michelle, that ain't cool.
Yes, it is cool.
I mean, if you don't know.
If you don't know,
you don't know.
No, I have to say for my retirement. And if they catch it, there is a clause in our estate plan that if you try to put me in a nursing home, all the money is going to Simba, our dog.
The dog is going to get all the money.
He's going to get all the money. If they catch it and they're trying to, they didn't like the fact that I was, teasing them and changing things out. But these are just little things that you can do. Just be very conscious of what you're doing, what's in your pantry. When you go shopping, like, for example, sometimes they say if you buy 3, it's half off, but you only need 1. So you have to be careful about those deals that encourage you to buy more than you actually need. Yeah, and you do strategies at home. Like, I'll buy the big refill, and then when you have the little on the counter, I only fill it halfway, because that gives them the sense that there's not a lot left, so they squeeze less. See?
Oh, you're tricking your kids.
You're tricking
Look
them.
at you.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
That's why I have money.
Money in the bank. Michelle, you're so much fun. Great tips. Always good to have you. Please come back.
I will,
absolutely. Please. Thank you. And for Michelle's financial advice, you can check out her newsletter, The Color of Money.
That's so much fun. And we are welcoming a familiar face when we come back.
Yeah, you know him, you love him. His new Lifetime movie, straight out of the news headlines. Actor Bill Pullman joins us next.
What lives on is legacy. You know what that word means?
Yes.
What does it mean, Paul? Tell me.
What someone leaves to their family.
What did he leave to us? What did he leave to us?
I don't know what you want me to say.
That's enough.
He left us opportunity to create our own legacy.
Goodness gracious, welcome back. That was a look at the 2-part Lifetime TV series based on the true story of Alec Murdaugh, the South Carolina attorney who was convicted of killing his wife and son.
It is a story that Eva knows all too well. The lead role is played by the guy sitting next to us, Bill Pullman, who's here to tell us all about it. Bill, welcome to the studio. Good to see you.
That is intense.
That was very intense there.
Yeah.
So what is it like playing a role that's based off of a true story and so recent?
Yeah, that was all happening last year when we were, getting ready to shoot, and the verdict came down, I think, March 3rd. Now I get to ask you on the set. I don't
it was March.
Yeah, that's it. And we were chatting just before about, you knew all about it, and I was at the other end of the spectrum. I hadn't seen anything, and I didn't know. So when I first heard about it, your guy killed his wife and son, and I thought, well, I don't know if I'm up for this, But then I read the script was quite good, and it was a lot of it had this verbatim from the 911 call and the body cam on the first officer on the scene, and so it had a reality about it that made it really intriguing to immerse myself in.
You knocked it out the ballpark.
Yeah,
oh, man.
It was very intense.
Wow. How was my southern accent? It was a South Carolinian.
Do you approve, Eva?
I think he did all right. Yeah.
Good.
In real life, let's talk about real life, because that is not you in real life. But in real life, your son is also an actor. How did you convince convince your kids to go into this as well?
Well, yeah, I didn't work at it. I was probably the other way around. But Louis is an actor, and we have a daughter is a singer and songwriter, and middle son he makes puppets and masks. He's a maker, crafter. Oh. And so, we've had a creative. My wife is a dancer, modern dancer, and so, we had a lot of family time making things happen, and I guess it stuck,
It seeped into them.
And you mentioned your wife, Tamara. She's also creative.
Yeah.
You are coming up on, do I have this right, 37 years?
Wow. Geez, the way you said that.
Okay.
No, it is 37 years.
What, you guys should do a book or a show of secrets to a long-lasting marriage. What are some of your tips?
Well, I don't know if there's, being a considerate person and respectful person and all those things that, we all should be anyway.
And knowing that she's always right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There you go, DeMarco.
Yeah. I'm still fighting that, DeMarco.
Big challenge there.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Well, I'm looking around at things, but one of the things I'm thick of trying to. We've had this old brick building that's in outskirts of LA, and we're making it into a compound where they can have places to work to make art. So we're going to have a theater and recording studio and everything.
Cool.
So right now, I'm trying to keep that in the front burner, and
That's so cool.
That's
a lot of work. So are you like physically helping?
Well, I do end up doing more, of that. But it's just a good team that's working with a good contractor, Marco Barone, and I think we've been at it for a little while, so it's one of those things that is because it's commercial and residential, and I'm learning all about that stuff. So.
Well, we're in LA a lot, so we'll come over and check on the progress.
We'll come help out.
Yeah, that's right.
So lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
And Murdaugh Murders, the movie, will re-air this Saturday on Lifetime. Is also available on streaming platforms, including Amazon Prime. I've heard amazing things about it.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Before we go, can't forget, I think Kat probably thinks we forgot, but it's her birthday.
It is her birthday.
Yeah.
This is Coach Kine right here, Catherine McKenzie, who we love dearly. Happy birthday to you. She is the reason that this show actually moves and gets it done.
Yes.
And we thank you. We can't thank you enough. Love you, Kat.
We
love you, girl.
You, Kat. Also,
Round
don't
of
forget
applause
about
for
Deals
Kat,
and Steals
everybody.
Power Hour.
Woo!
You can still shop it. And that's what you need to know. I'm Eva Pilgrim.
DeMarco Morgan.
And I'm Dr. Jen Ashton.
From all of us here at ABC News, including Bill and Kat McKenzie. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Kat.